So with that being said, traders, let's go ahead and get started in today's session. And let me give you a quick agenda as to what we're going to look at. So we're going to look at a couple of setups, some quick setups. We're looking for 20 pips out of the market. We'll set it up. We may trade multiple entry points in order to get to our 20 pip net profit. But we're going to be trading support and resistance based on the strategy. Then we're also going to go ahead and take a look and see what's going on with gold. I know that there's a lot of gold traders out there. We'll go ahead and give you a quick update on how gold's setting up based on technical analysis. And then we're also going to go ahead and take a look at some cryptos. Definitely want to take a look at two cryptos that we spoke about in my YouTube channel this week. And that is, of course, Gala, and also taking a look at Sandbox. Those are the two cryptos that we're going to take a look at. We'll always take a look at Bitcoin because that is the big brother, and we want to make sure that we're following in the right direction. So without further ado, my friends, let's go ahead and get the show on the road. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. And by the way, if I'm having a bad hair day, it's because I'm having a bad hair day, all right? Just got out of the shower, nice and fresh for the day, but I think I'm having a bad hair day. But I do have a cap here. You know what? Let me go ahead and save everyone the frustration of looking at me, and let's just go ahead and do this, okay? There we go. Now I'm set, ready to go. All right, so let's take a look and see what's going on right here with the market as we look for trade opportunities. I do want to sell Aussie CAD. Now I'm going to tell you why I want to sell Aussie CAD. Because if you take a look over here, we actually have the Aussie CAD on the 4-hour time frame testing this level of resistance. Not only do we have resistance here on the 4-hour, look at the indecision candle that's coming up right now on the 4-hour right here. Indecision, we do see negative divergence as well. Woo! That's what we want. We want negative divergence. So we're seeing great negative divergence. It gives us a good indication that we may see this pair dropping back down south. Now, just a little heads up, this pair could drop down even further down south, which means it can go really far down. But I'm just going to do this. I just want to grab 20 pips out of the market. Now, if you are a position trader and you're looking to take on a lot more, there is big time potential on this to go even further down south. If you look over here, we see the market sitting up in this wave structure. Here we go. There's wave 1, 2, 3 down here. Now we're pulling back up to retest that support there and a previous wave low. So there's going to be resistance. We're expecting price to be rejected off those levels and then turn around and head back down south all the way down to this level, which is at 89.02. So there is some big time downside potential on the Aussie CAD if it stays below that resistance level and continues to work its way back down. So for a quick 20 pip Friday move, let's go ahead and look for a trade right here that we're going to go ahead and trade. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into my trading account.
I trade. Like I said, remember I said we were waiting for a wick down and a push up? Once we've seen price rejecting to go down and we've seen that push up, we just clear this off so it's not in the way. Right, once we see this wick down and push up, this is where I would enter my trade. And I'd put my stop loss below the current candle, right? Because this is the last low. So really I have a stop loss of 5 pips. Oop. TP1 is 10 pips on the dot, right? That's TP1. And then TP2 is about 22 pips. Okay. So watching this on the 15 minute, we can get down here. Let's see. Okay, watching this on the 5 minute. What do we see? I'm just going to delete this so it doesn't distract you. Let's just take all this away. Okay. What do you see? Price is looking pretty good, right? It looks like we got a sniper entry, right? And even looking at the 5 minute, say if you put a trend line here, you're seeing price. Look at all this clean candles, right? Price is cleaning this area up. So looking at the 5 minute, it looks like the resistance is really up in here. So we can take this away. Okay. And you see that? So this is called a tweezer top, right? So typically that means price is going to reverse. So within seeing that tweezer top, I would A, put a trailing stop in, or B, I take my profits. So that part is up to you. A lot of people say, when should I hold my trade? When should I get out the trade? It's really up to you and how you're managing your money. Knowing me, I might have closed my trade or I might have just put in a trailing profit here. It really depends how much I'm up. So let's see. You would have been up about 18 pips. As this candle starts to come down, right about here, you'd be up 15 pips, and that's not too bad, you know. But let's say put a trailing stop here. Let's see what would happen. Okay, price is coming back up. Price is coming back up. So what do you see? You see price consolidate and then continue to break up. So I'd probably change my trailing stop to this TP, right? So we're gonna say trailing stop is at TP1.
Yeah, it's not my. It's like, yeah, Wyckoff is something that I've heard about it for a long time, you know. But do you know, I found this stuff quite daunting because I'm a very simplistic guy. Even though my charts look complicated, I'm a very simple guy. When I saw all of this stuff, I was like, what's all this crap? Like, how am I gonna implement this in my strategy? But then I thought, okay, with something like this, I'm only gonna use it when it's so apparent that this setup is Wyckoff that it's not open for discussion. If I showed you this and I showed you this, it'd be very clear that they're the same pattern. And then so with Wyckoff, the good thing about it's not really that subjective. Once the setup is clear, you can kind of see it. It's very clear. Do you know what I mean? Like I showed you both, and straight away you can see that they matched. So if you're ever deliberating as to whether it is or it isn't, then just leave it. So I'm not in any, because I'm lucky, because I've got other strategies I use, I can be very selective about using this. Sometimes if you have one strategy and it shows up once every 2 months or something, then you might try and find and see it everywhere you can because you want to take more trades. But if you have a multitude of strategies that you can use, if one isn't serving you and isn't showing up, then you just park it to the side and wait for it to show up again, and then you carry on trading with another strategy, which I find is why sometimes the strategies that I don't use have like the highest success rates for me, because I use it so sparingly, because when it doesn't show up, I just don't use it. So yeah, this is something I'm still working on. That was my first trade I took with Wyckoff, but and it's worked out for me. But I'll see how it goes, and I'll carry on some more. But yeah, I'm always learning different ways of trading. That's why I even watch his Nick channel. I watch so many different people's channels that trade completely differently to me, because I like to see confluence in how I'm trading, how they're trading. We get to the same result, both get profits, but we looked at the markets completely different. It's quite interesting. There's 101 different strategies out there, and they can all be profitable, but they can all tell you different ways of coming to the same conclusion. And I just find that really interesting. And when you can learn a couple of them and merge them together, it makes your strategy even more airtight, in my opinion.
What do you do when certain news comes out and you're sitting there and wondering what on earth happened? Okay, so first of all, we have this news here that was 150 pips move on a euro. What happened here? That was Fed. That was Jerome Powell coming out and saying, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are seeing that inflation is no longer transitionary. We're now going to sell. We're now going to increase our purchase. We're now going to open up the likeliness of higher interest rates. For everyone who's out there, what does higher interest rates means when the biggest economy out there starts, wanting to increase their rates? Well, what we have seen ever since that morning or that day is prices has been falling. So where are we right now on Aussie dollar? Today on Aussie dollar we are at resistance. Okay, what's happening here? Tomorrow there is a Reserve Bank of Australia is going to have a meeting tomorrow. Well, what does that mean? That means for you that it's going to be a pullback. The pullback has already happened. The question is it going to fall from here? I sure think so, but you never know. You never know. What is kind of the importance of Australia? What's kind of the most important longer term things that is affecting Australia, Mike? Okay, so we can go into this analysis editorial on Aussie, and as you can see here, just on the headline, that we are focusing on 70, 35, 40 area. We're now at 45. shifts to RBA decisions tomorrow. We have China that is important, and then we have Australia jumps another 20 pips. Okay, it's not really that great, but if we go down here, you can see if you're bullish or bearish, depending on what you are. We can see what's bearish for Australia, and right now is RBA, are prepared to be more patient. That means that Australia is not doing too well, nor Australia is not doing too well. Okay. The other one is that Chinese private sector, mostly Evergrande and other companies, has a problem with debt that is not at all good for the Australian economy. And then RBA also confirms that there's COVID numbers are a toll on the economy that was from September. Okay, so what does Australia do to make this one fall? Well, first of all, they said that they're not going to support the goal of the 2-year bond that they issue. That means less support to the economy. So right now we are falling pretty hard, right? So if you look at today, this morning, where are we? Can we become a bit higher before falling? Absolutely. But what is the trend? What is the reason for this trend? The reason for this trend is, first of all, Australia is not doing too well. China is not doing too well. It is dollar. It is doing extremely well. So, in this kind of situation, we are then headed to the downside. Now, how long is this going to continue? Well, we don't know that, do we? And if we kind of look into what has happened previously, such beautiful trends has happened before, but also in the opposite direction. So it continues, pause, continues, pause, down, up again, until we then continue lower. Now, I don't think this pullback that we have today is fantastically great, but it might be the only thing that you're getting today. So if you were thinking, well, I should probably sell this thing, not that I ever agree with that, but there we go.